Hello, I'll be talking about what I've noticed, my concerns and surprises about the Common Core state standards. So first, we're starting with the introduction, and the first thing I noticed was that they're focused on college and career readiness. Now, I was really happy to read this because then it seems that they have the students' futures in mind. Then I moved on and I read that there are 2-year bans in grades 9 to 12 to allow school districts and states flexibility in high school course design. That surprised me because I thought ninth grade was only going to be ninth grade, 10th would follow 10th grade standards, and so on and so forth. But here they're saying it's okay to have a little flexibility. Next, I noticed that they encourage teachers to be able to have creativity in their lesson plans, um, and they leave room for teachers, curriculum developers, and states to determine how these goals should be reached. That was a breath of fresh air for me to read because I thought that state standards were nightmarish and we would have all the fun sucked out of our lessons because of it. Alright, let's move on to the anchor standards in the context of reading. Okay, I want to scroll all the way down to the bottom here where it says read and comprehend complex literary and informational text independently and proficiently. I have my concerns with this statement because I think proficiently doesn't quite give me a clear idea of what they mean. However, I would infer that it means to hit all these standards. But as a first-time visitor to this site and just familiarizing myself with this, I would like to know more. Now we're going to reading literature, and since I am teaching ninth grade in my student teacher course, I want to check out the ninth grade with you. So, under this, I think the most noticeable, highlightable part was down here at the end, and it says, by the end of ninth grade, read and comprehend literature, including stories, dramas, and poems. I'll skip ahead here, with scaffolding as needed. But then by the 10th grade, or end of 10th grade in particular, they should be doing this independently and proficiently. There's that word again. So this surprised me that in ninth grade and in part of 10th we would have to do scaffolding, but by 10th grade they should be working independently. Now, that surprised me because it puts me in a place where I'm afraid if maybe the ninth grade teacher doesn't do such a good job teaching these students, then if I'm a 10th grade teacher, would that make my job harder? Would I not be able to support these kids as much? Because they should be working independently and not needing as much scaffolding. Brings up some questions and concerns in my mind. Let's go on to reading informational text. Again, ninth grade. Okay, so we're here, and I like the first point that we need to cite strong and thorough textual evidence. I am actually doing this in my student teaching class now, so it made me happy to see that I am meeting one of these standards. Then in point 2, I like that they said we need to provide, well, the students need to provide an objective summary of the text. I was surprised to read that because I thought maybe the students would need to write their opinions more, but in terms of informational text, it makes sense that they have to remain objectives. So, as a teacher who likes to dive into the depths of mind and opinions, it's good for me to know that there are times when we need to be objective. Okay. Under reading, I saw that this is from K to 5th grade. So I didn't look into this so much, but it's good to know where to find it in the future if I do want to know more about it. Let's go to writing. Okay. So under writing, I think the most noticeable thing to me was how it was broken up. Um, so here we can see that they're needing to write arguments, and there's all these subheadings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, A to E. And then here's a new section. They will need to write informative and explanatory texts. And then the subheadings here, write narratives, and yeah, those 3 points to me stuck out because I personally didn't know what types of writing they would have to perform, so it's a good reference to be able to go back to. Oh, and then they mentioned technology on point 9 to 10. Point 6. Here it is. So the standards want the students to use technology, including the internet, to produce, publish, and update individual or shared writing products, da 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 da. To me, this was a surprise because when I was a high school student or elementary school student even, I don't believe I ever saw technology on the state standards or heard it being a standard. So this shows to me that this is an evolution in our standards and what we think is important. Let's go to speaking and listening. Since we are talking about new items on the standards list and how our ideas of standards are evolving, this is something that is new to me. Let's check it out. Okay, so under speaking and listening, I like this first point of collaborative discussions. And they should be building on each other's ideas and expressing their own. This is something that we've been doing in a lot of our courses at state. So if the students are able to do this, that shows that they can go to college and be successful in their discussions there as well. So I'm very supportive of this being as part of their standards. Again, the digital media being in there, very futuristic. So that's surprising to me, but makes sense. Let's go on to language. There's a lot of goodies in here about grammar and spelling. Spelling is something that jumped out to me just because I've never been the best speller. And I think that my spelling tests stopped in middle school. So to see this on a high school standard, that surprised me because I thought, well, are we going to give instruction and how to spell correctly, or are we just going to tell our students you have to spell correctly on your essay? Like, it makes logical sense that we'd want them to spell correctly, but my big question, I suppose, is should we teach them more strategies to spell correctly or focus more on these sort of things where maybe they don't know what a prepositional phrase is or independent clause. If I had a spelling test, would they get bored? I don't know. Help me out, Kinsberg. Okay, and last but not least, we're going to the range, quality, and complexity here. All right. So on this section, you have some graphs. It's able to print out for you if you need these on hand. So I was very enthralled to see this, and I think it's very helpful for teachers as a resource to be able to go through any of these sort of things and have graphs at hand. Since we're pushing 12 minutes, I think I am going to stop it here. But this has been my overview. Thank you for watching, and thank you for signing this because I learned a lot. All right, have a great weekend. Peace.